This is one of the few independent shows in Canada. It's not a news show, it is an analysis. And it's 3 minutes of issues that are important or should be of importance to Canadians. So if you can, subscribe and PayPal. Keep us on the air. And Jay Goldberg is with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. He knows about taxes. He joins me right now because we've dealt with taxes. I want to ask you, oftentimes you hear people say, Canada's economy, there's a few problems, rough spots, but we're just like the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is going down the toilet as well. Is that true or not?
It's not true. It's not true because our debt is increasing exponentially faster than other countries. It's not true because our inflation rate is higher than a lot of other countries. It's not true because of the housing problems, the housing explosion in prices, and the inability for people to be able to buy homes and find homes. So we are not doing better than other comparable countries.
We're going to hear all year, Jay, that Trudeau is doing a great job. He has already said our economy is a few little problems, but we are solid. We are rock solid. Canada is just going along.
Listen, we're paying $4 billion a month on debt interest. That could build you 4 new hospitals a month across the country. It's not happening because Trudeau has doubled our national debt in his time as Prime Minister. And it's a big reason why we've faced the higher inflation, why it's been more difficult for the Bank of Canada to deal with it, and why housing prices have also exploded. Yes, the Bank of Canada has said the federal government's economic policy, their spend, spend, spend approach, has made it more difficult to get inflation under control and has had to lead them to increase interest rates to higher than they would have if the government had worked with the Bank of Canada to have a fiscal policy that's under control, where you balance your books and you don't have excessive spending.
But we all know, our Prime Minister balances himself. They just go out there, they balance themselves.
Well, he's still waiting for them to balance themselves, but I'll tell you, the numbers do not look good. The deficits are increasing in years ahead. All those so-called fiscal anchors that the Liberals kept saying we were going to have, they're not there anymore, and they're making up a new so-called anchor every year.
But Jay, this government wants to have a whole flock of sheep out there. Everybody's going to be happy. They had to, because of the NDP, to keep themselves in power, keep the NDP voting for them, have a dental program. And somebody said, this is a great thing for poor people.
First of all, we don't have the fiscal room right now to support such a big new government program. The other thing, as many people will tell you, is that the vast majority of Canadians can't access it. It's not accessible for most people. It doesn't even cover a lot of what most people need. It might sound like a good, a good bumper sticker, but in reality, it's not being delivered for Canadians, and it's just one more program that right now, because of reckless spending over 8 years, we can't afford.
On the other hand, from what I read, that you have to have virtually no income to get it, unless you're over 87. Where did that come in? People over 87, most of them don't have teeth.
I think they're starting at 87, working down a little bit, but you're definitely right. They'd have to have dentures covered at that point.
Jay Goldberg, thank you very, very much. Nothing wrong with dentures. I don't have them. 3 minutes. This show provides independent analysis of the issues. We are not paid by the government. And as I am finding, so much business in Canada relies upon various governments that they don't want to sponsor or advertise on a show which may become controversial, which talks about liberty, freedoms, sometimes criticizes government. I've had guests on that support the government. But people are saying, you know what? We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us, i.e. government, which is why I hope you'll subscribe and contribute to keep this show on the air.